So is there a difference between owning a business, being self-employed, and being an entrepreneur? Well, when you go and you register a business with the state, there isn't a difference, right? It's one LLC or S Corp or whatever you're going to register your business as. It's just one option. Now, from a technical perspective, I actually think there is a difference. And here's my opinion on the difference between the three. If your income is solely dependent on your effort in the business, i.e. if you're a plumber and if you don't go to work, you don't make money, that's being self-employed. Now, there's nothing wrong with being self-employed. A lot of people just want to be their own boss, but that's not the same thing as owning a company. And owning a company or owning a business is if you can replace yourself and the business continues to run, and it's not solely dependent on you to run it, and you can actually work outside the business, on the business, and not necessarily in the business, and there's a self-sustaining mechanism within that business, then that is a genuine business. And you can be a business owner at that point and own a legitimate business. Now, there is a little bit of crossover when it comes to being an entrepreneur, because not all business owners are entrepreneurs. And how I define an entrepreneur is somebody that takes an exceptional amount of risk, somebody that is actually creating the business. Now, you can own a business and be an entrepreneur. You can be an entrepreneur and not own a business, but some business owners are not entrepreneurs. And the reason why I say that is because some business owners, they stepped into a business that already had systems, that already had marketing, that already had things in place, and they are just running that business. I would say that person isn't necessarily an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur would go into a business and usually they create the business. Sometimes they'll start franchises, but a lot of times they'll do it from scratch. They build the systems, they build the marketing, they build the procedures, they put everything in place, and they get the business to a place where it is self-sustaining. That's what an entrepreneur actually is. Now, one of the litmus tests that I use to actually determine if a business is a genuine business is, can you sell it? Is there actually anything there that you can sell other than some of the tools and the material and logo and stuff like that? Some people think that, well, hey, I'm self-employed, I have my plumbing business, and I want to retire, so I'm going to sell that plumbing business. But you're the only plumber that's there, and so when you leave, the business doesn't generate money in and of itself. And if that's the case, you're going to have a hard time selling it for a premium because it's not really a business. You're self-employed. And so what are you selling? You're selling the name, which isn't worth a whole lot. You're selling the materials and the supplies and the tools that you have, and maybe the customer list. Now, a customer list isn't going to be worth as much as some people think it is, because if they're used to working with Joe and Joe's selling it and Bob's buying it, they may not want to work with Bob. And so Bob may lose the majority of that list from the get-go anyways. Now, this is just kind of how I define what a business is. At P23 Realty, right now, we're transitioning from being self-employed, because I am the primary real estate agent here, to an actual business. My goal is to turn it into a business. And so it is a process, and sometimes you have to start one thing and actually transition to the next thing. But my goal is for it to be a self-sustaining business that's not solely dependent on my activities in order to generate income.